Hi, welcome to Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV. This is Kenny Fogel. Glad you could join us today. We got Kecia Copeland here with us today. Kecia, Bardstown City Councilwoman here. And Kecia, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, Bardstown been making the news a lot lately. Some of it's good, some of it not so good. We get an award every now and then, but I know City Council has been a little tense, if I'm going to use the right word there. That might even be a mild statement. And so what basically is going on in City Council? Is it a functional council right now?
I would say no. It's not a functioning council. We clearly do not see eye to eye on things. And I myself, I can only speak for Kecia. But, I truly believe that I'm for the people.
Uh-huh.
I'll fight for the people till the end. And I love my community. There is nothing that you can say or take away from me to say that I don't. And, I take it very seriously when people come and say, hey, we're having this, we're having that. We're going to send something to the council, and the mayor, can you, speak for us or sponsor, just to stop me in the grocery store. Mm-hmm. And that was what I ran on, was the fact that I wanted to be that everyday person that you saw, whether it was a restaurant, a store, wherever, and you could stop me and talk to me. And I think I'm that person. I haven't changed. And, your presence is asked at a lot of functions. And you may not be able to make all of them, but I do really make an effort to be at most of them. And, just to be out there and to support. Now, it can be city or county.
Yeah.
I live in Bardstown. And
Nelson
County, that's right.
Yeah.
So, it goes hand in hand.
Right.
And, I had someone that had a protest not too long ago,
Uh-huh.
And I went because it's important. It's important to hear from everyone, because what we do affects not only the city, but it affects the county as well.
Well, but when you're out at, say, Kroger or wherever you are, and somebody's coming to you and talking, and they got a legitimate complaint, what do you do with it? I mean, obviously, is this something you take to the city council meeting? Is this something you take? Is it an I guess that's what is an administrative function, and what is the role of a city council person? What can you do, and what can you not do?
The city council, and reading our Kentucky League of Cities books, we are to make sure that there's a budget, and then we are over the ordinances. Now, that's the legitimate role of a city council person. However, public opinion, we're more than that.
Yeah.
We're their voice. We're their eyes. We're the ones that they lean on to make sure that we have their best interests. And, we're there to ask the questions. I mean, how can they ever know what's going on without you asking the question? And you can't be afraid to ask the question.
Yeah.
You have to do the bidding of your community. That's what they elected you for.
Where do you feel like you're shut down from asking those questions? I know there was a last meeting or two, there was a question of whether you were allowed to speak or not, and you apologize. You seem to say, well, you didn't know for sure if you should stand up and slam your fist on the table and say, I'm going to speak whether you like to or not. But can you do that?
I had a legitimate reason to ask the question, and I had every right to ask it. Mm-hmm. As you could tell, I said, well, what about the budget? Well, clearly in that statement, it was, you are the budget and the ordinances. So I had every right to ask the question. And it's a question that the public wanted to hear. We represent the people. Mm-hmm. And I take that seriously. When I walk out my front door, I want them to know that I'm there. I'm there for you. And if you ask me to do something that it's within the power that I'm able to, that I'm going to ask that question. I'm not going to go behind closed doors. If it's something that's legitimate that I can ask, I'm going to ask in open session. That's my right. That's the people's right.
Well, I know there was a conference that you attended, and that's one of the things you wanted was your reimbursement for that. Have other people attended that conference before? In the past?
Yes.
So there has been a precedent set that
Yes.
conference is a legitimate conference.
That conference has been attended since 1999.
But it was labeled by the city council member as a racist conference. I mean, I know that's probably struck a nerve of some sort. I don't know what you can say about that.
You know, when someone says something like that, I think the best thing to do is not respond at all. Clearly, we know what it is. The Kentucky League of Cities, we fall under them, just like the Clerk Association falls under them, an affiliation. So clearly, as large as the Kentucky League of Cities is, they would not be associated with a racist group. So I'll leave that at that.
Okay, well, so again, your role as city council, you feel like you're the voice of people that elected you, and at the same time, is there anything that's off limits? Obviously, you can't go to the road department and tell them what roads to fix or something like that.
And I wouldn't, because you have experts in those departments, and they should be able to run their department. You know, they are the expert. I would never, and that's not what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. If a resident comes to me and says, hey, you know, we have these trailers sitting in front of our house, and they've been there, and they're blocking our view, or they're blocking our cul-de-sac, or they're blocking what have you. Well, yes, I can go to the person that's over that and say, hey, you know, I got this complaint, you know, can you assist with that? And normally that's all we have to do. Yeah. You know, and so we're, you know, it's like being a liaison, you know, between them and the people and the departments for the city hall.
Has anybody been told not to talk to you or anything of that nature? Or they treat you pretty good when you come talk to them?
Most of the time, yes. I would say yes. Okay. You know, they have responded very well. Okay. You know, and I know it's tense. And we just have to get through this. Okay.
Well, the tension is, when we've mentioned, there's a lot of tension on the board, and primarily most of us between you and the mayor. I mean, you and the mayor have obviously never been on the same page, and I'm not saying necessarily city-wise, but just personal. It seems like it's become a personal thing. So I don't know if you feel that way or not, or you feel like that you've got a personal battle, or he has a personal battle. What's going on there?
You know, Kenny, I am the city councilwoman, and he is the mayor.
Right.
I've always been brought up to respect, you know, a position. In the military, you respect who's in command. However, there is no certain rule that you can't question the command, you know. And, you know, I do on occasion, but it's respectfully. I don't have any certain expectations for anything positive or negative to come out of anything. I just want to get through this term and make sure that I have represented the city the way I am supposed to.
Okay, well, getting off that just for a second, obviously you mentioned one of your biggest responsibilities as a city council is the budget. And we got a budget coming up pretty soon, and it's going to be interesting, because I know last year we spent some of the surplus in order to fund, I believe it was the fire department. And what's going to happen this year? Obviously we don't have that surplus anymore.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. It's going to be very interesting. I know that the fire department is right now within this budget asking for a new fire truck. And, you know, in the meeting I asked that, you know, they have a plan, you know, because I would hate to see the chief come every year. I need something. We need a plan, you know, and that's everywhere in the city hall. They all need a plan. They need a long-term plan so that, we can look at where we are today, where we need to be, and where we got to be. And that's with any place that you would, any corporation or what have you. You have to have a plan. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Well, again, you mentioned we've had some shakeups, and that's the question, and I'll phrase it the best way I can. But people come to me and they said, we've got all this stuff going on with the mayor, but where's the city council in all this? Can you do if the mayor decides he wants to do something, or is there a point where you can stand up and say, no, you can't do this, or yes, you can, or is it only in through the budget, or how does this have to work?
Anything that's brought to us for a vote, mm-hmm. that would be how you change it.
Well, I'd like to say the shake-up of the fire department, shake-up of the police department, 911 dispatch. I mean, there's so many different things going on.
The fire department is something that, he has that authority, that administrative authority to hire the fire chief. Right. However, we have to approve it.
Right.
The assistant chief, that was, like I said, it was a blindside for our council, some of the members. It was a blindside. But, the main thing is that the council needs to work cohesively and seamlessly so that we can do the bidding of the public. Clearly, the new police chief, whoever it may be, will come before us. And at that time, you'll have to show a strong counsel. Mm-hmm. This is the livelihoods of young men, women, children, and, our community. And so we need to make sure that next person coming in is going to be just as strong as Chief McCubbins, but also have the integrity and honor that Chief McCubbins has, and be able to have that leadership to take us to the next level, to make sure that, we don't go away from where we need to be. Yeah. We know that there are drugs. There are drugs in most cities. We just need to make sure that we're fighting the fight that we're supposed to have. And, make sure that we don't have excessive force. That's a huge concern right now. Mm-hmm. The mentality of the station right now. Will we lose people? Will we lose the good people? They're all good, yeah. But will we lose the ones that feel like, they were left out from promotion or what have you? Yeah. There's a lot that's hurting right now. Not only is the community hurting, but those young men and women are hurting right now. Mm. They're losing their commander. And, it hurts me. It hurts me to know that Chief McCubbins was left out of the loop on a huge decision that should have involved him. He knows his people the best. And I can't imagine leaving him out of the loop, not consulting him or taking his recommendation. When he speaks, you believe that it's to be true. He has the experience, a police, officer. He's a U.S. Marshal. He's a chief of police. He could go anywhere. And when I gave the interviews, I said, I really couldn't see us keeping him. I couldn't see us keeping him because the main thing is that you didn't consult him. And then there were individuals that knew about their promotions who didn't even consult with the chief. Yeah. And so the chief is walking around blind in his own department. How would you feel? Mm.
I can understand what you're saying there. So your perception right now of the state of the city of Bardstown government is it needs some work.
Definitely. definitely needs a lot of work. You know, I've said this over and over again that leadership is over 70% communication, and then you got to know how to negotiate with people, motivate them, inspire them, and that's just not being met right now. And then the lack of trust. You know, everywhere you turn, you know, there's a question about, well, what are we going to do? Well, you know, that decision was the mayor's decision. That was not the council's decision. You know, I totally feel for the community. I feel for them. And I'm involved with that. You know, there's a lot of fears out there. There's a lot of concerns out there. But the main thing that, you know, I tell parents now, and I'll tell people now through the camera lens, is that know where your kids are. Know where your kids are, number one. Number two, know how to use a cell phone. Know how to video. Know how to call home, when to call home, and go home.
All right. Well, like I said, I know obviously there's a protest rally coming up this weekend against, I guess, primarily the mayor. And I don't know if you're attending or not attending, but apparently there's a lot of people that are voicing their opinion right now. And I guess that's something we're going to have to listen to and see how long that lasts.
Well, you know, they have a right. They have a right. A peaceful rally, there's nothing wrong with that. They have a right to express themselves. They're disappointed. They're disappointed. And so they have a right to be there and rally and protest if they want. That is their right. And hopefully they'll get some answers. If I'll be there, yes, of course I'll be there. You know, I was asked and I said, yes, I'll be there. You know, is there a rule that the council can't be there? To me, all of the council should be there. They should hear what they have to say. Because when we sit down at the end of the day and have to, you know, approve a new chief, I want their voice to resonate in my mind when I say yay or nay. Yeah. And I think that's fair.
Well, I know we've got elections coming up in November, and I know it's way too early probably for some people to announce, and I'm not asking you to do that today, but is that the answer? Is that the answer, elections, or what is the answer to get Bardstown back on track, in your opinion, from where it is now to be the
I would
functioning?
definitely say elections. Oh, yes, most definitely. Your voice has to be heard. And, I mean, you have to stand for something. You can't sit idle all the time, you know. And to me, I'm about education. So continuous training. If we only sit in Bardstown and do as Bardstown does, then how do we ever know what's going on outside of Bardstown? Yeah. How do we get those ideas? How do we become creative and innovative? Do you think that Kim Houston just sits in her office all day and just, you know, well, I'm just going to stay in Bardstown? No, she goes outside of Bardstown, you know. We're fortunate. Bardstown is very fortunate to have departments and agencies that are self-ran. We're very fortunate. We're fortunate because we have Kim Houston. We're fortunate because we have Dawn in tourism. We're just a fortunate community, and we have to get back on track. And yes, it's going to take people voting. Come out and vote. Let's have a record year in voting. Let's push it. You know, I don't care if it's raining, whatever. Let's vote. Bring carloads of people. Let's get back to the basics and vote and have your voice heard. But it will take elections to change this.
Well, again, you know, I know you say your voice, you feel like it's not being heard or heard properly. You got the budget coming up. I don't know if you're in on the talks of that, or that's something that will just be presented to you and to vote on yes or no. And again, you know, that's a big issue. So
it is a big issue. It's a big budget, and so we'll definitely have to look at things differently because last year we, decided not to have any taxes whatsoever. And I was, didn't want to do that because I wanted to make sure that, we knew what we needed and how that was going to work out. But this year, we'll have to make some tough decisions. And, the decisions may not always be what the people want to hear, but hopefully in the end, it'll be what we need. So, budgets are always hard.
Okay, so is there anything else we need the public to know before we wrap it up today?
I want to thank the public for their support, supporting me and the council through our times. We've had some troubling times, and I just like to thank everyone for calling, texting, and giving positive news about things that have happened and how some of us have come out and spoke about the things that we didn't quite agree with. So I just want to thank them, know that I stand with you and not against you, and I will always be the voice that you need.
All right, well, Kecia, we appreciate you being here today, and we wish you all the best coming up.
Thank you.
All right, Kecia Copeland with the Bardstown City Council, City Councilwoman, and appreciate her being here, and appreciate you tuning in. And again, we'll be back with more of our community focus on Channel 6 right after these messages.